are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WHOA GNV Podcast, the Coronavirus Sessions, where our temporary mission is to save as many businesses and jobs as possible by sharing how your fellow business owners and professionals are navigating the impact of COVID-19. I am your host, Collin Austin, and my co-host is Michael Dees.
What's up, man? I feel like we're like week 10 now. We're still finally like ironing out technical difficulties. You think we'd get it, by now, but I think we're both ready to just get back into the studio, huh?
Dude, I cannot wait to get back into the studio. I'm not.
I know you're
I'm
itching.
definitely not into all these technical difficulties, and it's just nice to throw them on somebody else,
Yeah,
James.
that's right. That's right. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll introduce our sponsors. We've got Kevin M. and the gang over at Gainesville Harley-Davidson. Once again, guys, now is the time to get geared up for the riding season. One of the things we've talked about most on these coronavirus sessions is how businesses have adapted. Well, Gainesville Harley-Davidson is offering free shipping to most addresses. So if you prefer not to come into the shop during this time, they've got your back. Check out all their amazing inventory at GainesvilleHarley.com or give them a call at 352-331-6363. They have all 7 days of the week. They've got hours. So get in there, shop around, find yourself a new ride. And Gainesville Harley, man, we can't thank you enough for your support. We appreciate it. We couldn't do this without you. So big thanks to you.
Yeah, baby. Gainesville Harley. I love you guys. Gotta also say thank you to Jorge and the crew over at Gainesville Turnover Specialists, which is brought to you by the one, the only, the best restoration. You guys, if you own an apartment complex or a house or like you just have a rental and you need to get it turned over, well, you got to call the Gainesville Turnover Specialists. You guys, with one call, let me repeat, one call, the Gainesville Turnover Specialist will be able to go in and make that apartment look brand new again. No need to call someone out to clean the carpet and then to fix that hole in the wall and then to clean that grout. Ain't no need, baby, because that takes so much time to call them people. Just call one group, and that's the Gainesville Turnover Specialist. They can do it all. Find them at 352-363-6622. Again, that's 352-363-6622, or find them online at yourgts.com. That's yourgts.com. And Jorge Group, thank you so much for supporting us. Really, really appreciate all of our sponsors. You guys, as we said multiple times, the sponsors make this show happen, and we're just so grateful for them. So let's get into our show. Are you ready to go, Michael?
Let's do it, man.
You ready to go, Casey?
Absolutely. I'm sure you guys are stoked to hear about insurance today.
Always.
I'm always in for insurance. You guys, on the show, we have Casey.hahn of Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. And, man, I'm just glad that I, was able to spell bureau on my notes because it's such an interesting word. There you go. Casey, what's up, man?
Not too much. How's it going? I should have you turn your little notes around and show it to the audience to see if you did really truly spell it correctly.
Yeah. These days I just rely on autocorrect or spelling correct, whatever it is for Microsoft Word. But
there you go.
Yeah, buddy. So how you been, man? I haven't seen you forever.
Yeah, doing really well. Thanks, Colin. Appreciate you guys having me on. Been listening to your podcast and such an awesome idea you had with this, especially as we navigate the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you. So why don't you tell us how this craziness has impacted you and your industry, and first, give everybody a more formal intro as to who you are and what you do.
Sure. So as you mentioned, Casey.hahn, I'm a Farm Bureau agent here in Gainesville, serving primarily Alachua County homeowners. We do auto insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance as our three core products.
And I heard that you had a 10-year anniversary. Is that coming up? Or?
June 1st will be exactly 10 years as an agent with Farm Bureau. So kind of
Happy
a cool little
anniversary,
milestone.
man. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you both. So we've just been, since this all happened there in early to mid-March, we've continued to kind of stay busy, albeit while adjusting the way we do business on a daily basis. Our offices have been, for the most part, closed to incoming foot traffic, but now here in the last week or so, we have started meeting with people again by appointment only. Fortunately, we are able to do pretty much everything over the phone, via email, and transact business that way. Get documents to people to e-initial and e-sign, and just like I said, just for the most part, it's been business as usual, and been very fortunate to still be running business and still be working during these crazy times.
Yeah, were all those things that you're talking about with e-sign and like the way you're meeting with client, like was that stuff that you had already had been doing before, or is that stuff that came up because of the virus? Because like we've totally made those pivots, Michael and I, with our business. So I was just wondering if that's something you've always been doing, or.
Yeah, yes, we've had the opportunity or availability of the e-signature and the e-initial for a lot of documents historically, but with what we do, a lot of it is relationship building, and so. Is it ideal to transact all of our business just via email or over the phone? I would say no for the long haul. For me, I like to develop a rapport and a relationship with my clients, my prospective clients, and a lot of that is having face-to-face meetings, whether that's in my office, in the client's home, Starbucks, wherever the case may be. But now we've been forced to kind of adjust that. So I think over the long haul, it will provide us with added opportunities to get things done a little bit quicker and easier. But, I do still look forward to the time when we can, safely and conveniently meet, face-to-face again with our clients.
Yeah, so today's May 18th that we're recording. This will go out in a couple of weeks. But like with May 18th, like businesses are opening up at about 50% capacity again. Like, I mean, are you even having face-to-face meetings right now? And like, are people like masked up if you are meeting with them? Like, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. As of last Monday, they kind of gave us the go ahead that we can schedule meetings appointment only in the office. The difference being some people are choosing to wear a mask. We're not being required to wear one at this point in time. Certainly that could change any day or any week. But for the most part, I've still, for the time being, tried to continue to transact everything over the phone or via email. Just like it to be a little bit, more in the public's eyes, a little bit safer, I think, for everybody to do that. So I'm, like I say, I'm trying to make it as easy and as convenient for everybody during these crazy times.
Yeah, what's gonna be difficult about this is that like I have ordered some really cool masks, and like now I'm kind of pumped to show them off. So now I'm like, dude, I want to get out there and like show my cool mask, man. Like it's gonna be like a fashion statement.
Sure.
So, I don't know if that really helps. And I'll be like, yeah, we could have had this meeting, via Zoom, but I wanted to show you my really cool mask. Is that going to become a thing now? Like, I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be the new chic accessory. I see it.
That's right.
I definitely think there'll be like this fashion statement thing for sure with them. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
People will be getting them like bedazzled or some kind of like, diamonds or something on their face masks.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
Side business for you, Collin. You could do, high-end face masks. A little side hustle there for you.
Luxury face masks, you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm announcing that right now. They're $1,000 a piece. I just want to like reach out. This would be like the Louis Vuitton of face masks, man.
Nice.
There you go.
So have you utilized any of these, in these like one-to-ones or anything you're doing, have you utilized any like Zoom, or video aspect at all? Or has it just been like phone calls and like normal stuff?
Yeah, some FaceTime. And I'd done some FaceTime stuff in the past, particularly with clients that I may have that at one point were living here in the area and have moved, out of the state or even out of the general area. Some people still like transacting and seeing the person they're doing business with. So we have done some of those. There's been certainly some Zoom calls and some different networking groups I'm a part of. So it's been pretty cool. I'm a social guy and, kind of a people person, I think. And I do still look forward to getting back to having some face-to-face interaction, even if it has to be 6 feet apart in the future.
Yeah. No, man, the reason I ask, because this is a tool that I've kind of become fond of through this. I never really did FaceTime stuff, or I never really did Zoom meetings. I got Zoom because of the pandemic.
Right.
But now I'm kind of fond of it. I'm kind of people have said, hey, I want to schedule a meeting with you. I want to schedule a call with you and ask you some questions or whatever it is. And I'm just yeah, I was you want me to set up a Zoom? I'll send you a link. And, and so I prefer, I've noticed I've been leaning that way versus just a normal phone call. And so I'm just kind of curious if it's something that you're utilizing too. And really, I'm really curious to see if it sticks as once this thing is done, if this will become more normal.
Sure. I think it will. I mean, so here's kind of the easy way to put it for us, I guess, is if we're talking to people about an auto insurance policy or a homeowner's insurance policy, so much of that interaction can happen via email or over the phone. I really truly believe though, when we're talking to people about life insurance, I want to try to meet with them face to face. It just seems a lot more personal. There's a little bit more personal touch there, and truly, I don't know, it just seems like I get to know people a little bit better when I can see them and they can see me and understand exactly, kind of what we're talking about. So, do I think that FaceTime and Zoom calls are here to stay? I would say absolutely yes, for a lot of businesses, us included. But again, moving forward, at some point in time, it would be ideal if we could get back to at least having the opportunity to safely and comfortably meet face to face.
So I have to ask, I'm a data head. I love seeing information like that. And I don't know if it's too early to know yet, but as we've navigated this, I'm curious if you have any insight on claims. As people have stayed home more, maybe they've driven less, but are the claims on the rise? Are people getting in more trouble, or do we know that yet?
I mean, you would think with there being more people staying at home that there would be less auto accidents. I honestly, Mike, I don't know what the true numbers are from a claim standpoint. I think, a lot of that stuff, 30, 60, 90 days down the road is when you can kind of look back and really truly assess from a claim standpoint if the frequency and the payouts and that type of thing increased or decreased. One thing that we have done, kind of not related, I guess you would say, to claims history is, like most of the major auto insurance carriers, we've incorporated a 15% discount for 2 successive months of premium. So there's been some really cool things that I think a lot of insurance companies have done here in the last few months towards that. But, the office that I work out of, we share with some of our local claims adjusters, and they've been basically working remotely, but we'll pop their heads in here and there and talking to them. It seems like maybe to start with, things are a little bit slower on the auto insurance claim side, but they do seem to be ramping up back again. So I think that probably just, speaks to the fact that people are getting out and about, and world is hopefully getting back to normal again a little bit.
I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I think it's interesting that a lot of insurance companies have done that. And I'm curious, is it as much marketing ploy as it is just like less liability because people are not, on the road or at more risk, or how does that decision, is it surplus of funds? Or here, take it back because it's, we want to do good by our customers, but it's multifaceted to make that kind of decision to rebate customers.
Sure. And that, that decision is being made by somebody a bunch of levels above where I'm at on the agent side of things. I think it's probably a combination of everything that you said. And is it somewhat marketing? Yes. Is it somewhat goodwill? Yes. Is it somewhat a company probably looking at it as there are probably going to be a few less claims than what we would typically have because there's less people on the road here the last few months? I think it's a combination of all those things. Again, truly looking at the numbers, it will be a bit, I believe, before we can tell exactly from a claim standpoint how much maybe more money or less money was paid out in claims here. Weather is a factor too, though. So not just on the auto insurance side. The atmosphere doesn't care about what's happening with COVID-19, right? So we do still have certainly, the wind and the hail and those types of things that can adversely affect our clients as well. So, time will tell, I guess.
So you're just like saying those things, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh man, like hurricane season is like upon us.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm like, oh wait, what if we went from like pandemic to hurricane? I'm just like,
you almost don't want to watch the news because it's, if it's not the coronavirus that they're talking about here in Florida. I clicked on a link last week. I think it was just on the Weather Channel app. And, it's like forecasters predicting more hurricanes than normal this year.
Highly active.
Like,
yeah.
Do we really have to talk about that right now? Can we just
of course they are.
Yeah, just the negative.
In other news, volcano activity is up as well.
Yes, right.
2020. It's going to be... dude, did you see that thing I showed? There's this like meme going around that has, it's like, I don't know, somebody designed Mario. Have you seen Mario? And it's got like the wheel, the little spinning things of fire, and like you have to like navigate it like the perfect timing. Have you seen this meme? It's hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
It says something like trying to get through 2020, and but it's like basically it's like Mario going through a level that's like impossible. But like you see this guy, you see him like actually do it, and I was like, oh, so what you're saying is that it is possible to make it through 2020. So Casey, like, have you seen any opportunities through this? I think it's easy to kind of focus on the impact and the negative stuff that we're seeing all over the news, but like, I, as an entrepreneur, I'm always trying to dive into like, where are the opportunities at? Have there been any cool changes in process for you, or I don't know, just any opportunities that have popped up through this?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely. And it was probably a week or two into this whole deal, and without even really putting a whole lot of thought into it, I'm talking to my wife, and I just said, I've noticed a change in the way I kind of attack or approach each of the referrals I get, and then where there's maybe not as much day-to-day interaction or time spent in meetings away from the office. I get a referral, for example, from a mortgage lender, and I just find that I've been able to dig a little bit deeper and put a little more effort and time into each and every referral I've received versus getting something on my desk and trying to get it off my desk as quickly as possible and hope that it sticks on the wall, right? So from that standpoint, I think absolutely it's been good for me. I've noticed that the time that I'm spending in the office is very much hyper focused on making sure that I'm spending ample time and quality time, truly trying to make sure that we get all the information we need to write somebody's business, and that I am still trying to develop a relationship with the referrals I receive as well.
Do you find that more challenging given the fact that you can't meet with the people face to face?
A little bit, yeah, probably, because from day one, for me as an insurance agent, I've always said I want to be more than just a number on a piece of paper.
Sure.
I think that those types of salespeople are transactional as versus truly relationship based. So it's it has been harder. I do still, in the interactions I have, try to develop a rapport, even though it's not face-to-face meetings. So yeah, I would absolutely say yes, it's harder. But it's been, it is what it is. And, this is the same, I'm in the same boat as basically all the other insurance agents are right now. So just find a way,
That's good.
Yep.
What are the biggest changes that you've seen since you started in June 2010 to now it's almost June 2020? Like what is, like, how has the landscape changed for you?
That's good. I like that.
Oh man, great question. I think more and more people are going online and anywhere and everywhere on there to try to find insurance. Whether it's, for those of us here locally, Gainesville business word of mouth on Facebook, to Google searches, to, the tens of millions of dollars that some of these auto insurance companies are spending on advertising, TV advertising, which is not something our company does. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's the biggest change for me has just been all the different avenues people can pursue or seek out, ways to figure out, who exactly they want to do business with from an insurance standpoint.
Does the competition, like now that like we have, online internet quote comparisons, all that kind of stuff, it's so readily available. Does that truly drive the price down, or is there some kind of agreement between, competitors that they're not going to let it go, past a certain point, or?
No, and I'm not sure if this answers your question, Mike, but it's so much of an arms race, and we're in certainly a very, pardon the pun, a different climate here in Florida than what many other states are. And from the homeowners insurance side, it's a lot of it has to do with hurricanes. I know that back in the mid to late 2000s, there was a decent number of homeowners insurance carriers that completely pulled out of the state of Florida and non-renewed all their existing business. And here in 2020, I've heard recently of a couple of companies that are once again doing that. So, we had a period from the 2004, 2005 back-to-back years where there were some bad hurricanes up until 3 or 4 years ago, where we really didn't have a really bad hurricane season here in Florida. And so homeowners insurance companies were making a lot of money not paying out those extensive homeowners insurance claims. Now that we've had those bad hurricanes for 3 or 4 years, three out of the last 4 or 5 years, there are companies that are once again pulling out because they weren't charging adequate premiums from the very beginning. So again, not sure if that totally answers your question, but it's certainly an ever-changing landscape, and we do deal with something that by and large the rest of the country doesn't deal near as much with, and that is the hurricane portion of it.
For sure. No, I mean, it does answer it. I think that's interesting how readily, I mean, it seems like people can move in and out of the state. So Collin and I have recently got into, stock trading, day trading and stuff like that. It's probably not quite so rampant, but the idea of getting into a state when things maybe aren't so active and then pulling out at the sign that they are, that's compelling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And what happens is if you have, or from my experience, what I've seen is you have let's say a newer homeowners insurance company that says, I think we've got this model figured out. Let's get in there and let's write some homeowners insurance in Florida. And their way of really kind of getting in and getting their name out there is they charge these ridiculously inexpensive premiums. Well, that works until we have the bad hurricane seasons, right? And then all of a sudden we have a few bad hurricane seasons, and that policy that you maybe spent 10, 12, 15 bucks less for every month isn't quite as valuable if that company can't pay your claim or takes 2, 3, 4, 5 months to handle a claim that it shouldn't take that long to handle. So, with Farm Bureau, I do represent multiple homeowners insurance companies. First and foremost, we try to write business with Farm Bureau, and if we can't, for whatever underwriting reason, I have access to other companies. But Farm Bureau, we're not the cheapest, and never will be, but I'm okay with that because I know that we will be there in a time of need for people, especially talking to agents that have been right in the thick of it with some of these hurricanes the last few years. We may not be the very first homeowners insurance company on scene, but a lot of times we are getting our claims processed in a much faster manner than most companies.
And that is a great transition to my next question. Is so when that stuff happens, right? If there's a claim, my question is really getting into how do you scale yourself? Because I got to imagine, as an insurance agent, how tree falls on my house. I don't want to call no 800 number. I don't want to, you know what I mean? It's I want to call my agent, boom, boom, boom. hey man, this is what's going on. Like this just happened, and like wife's freaking out, I'm freaking out, everybody's freaking out, and so how can you navigate those situations? If you're giving out, you want to build that relationship, you really want to have these deep, this deep trust with the people
Sure.
coming to you. Like, man, you can only at some point, right? Like if you're giving your personal phone number saying, hey, text me if something happens, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if you do this, and maybe you don't. That's why I'm asking the question is like, how do you kind of maintain this level of normalcy,
Sure.
and not necessarily have everybody texting you at all times of the day because you're invested into the relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So fortunately, we're the sales part of the company, right? We have the initial contact with a prospective client. We go through the quoting process. We go through the binding process. We get somebody, off and running with whatever type of insurance it is that they're coming to us to help them with. When a claim happens, Collin, a lot of times, for example, you're my homeowner's insurance client, and you do have the tree fall on your house, and Shannon is freaking out, right? We will a lot of times receive the initial phone call, but what we have is claims adjusters. We have those throughout the state of Florida. Just so happens that we have claims adjusters in the same office that I'm in. So what will happen is we take in the information. A lot of times we have our clients, then we kind of guide them through, this is for sure a claim that's covered as part of your policy, or, maybe we're not sure. Let me check with a claims adjuster and I'll get back to you. Or sorry, unfortunately, that's not something that would be covered by your homeowner's insurance. But once a claim is filed, a lot of times we kind of stay out of it. We're not licensed to handle claims. We're not licensed to process claims. We don't write the checks, as the agent. So to keep us from really getting bogged down, and also legally, they don't want us getting too involved in that whole process either. To keep us from getting bogged down, the claims adjuster that is assigned to a specific claim will really take it from there after that point.
Cool. And we got to wrap up in a minute, but my final question is pandemic insurance. Is this a thing of the future? Yes or no? I mean, we've had a couple of insurance agents on here. I'm like asking everybody, pandemic insurance, is this coming? Like, what do you think?
Since I don't really, dabble too much in the business or commercial insurance realm of the business, I can't really give you a true educated answer to that. I have seen articles about it. Business interruption is basically what's happened. So a lot of companies or businesses that have been adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, I think are calling, of course, their business or commercial insurance company, and they're saying, oh, sorry, this isn't covered. Do I think it's something that's coming? My prediction would be yes, because certainly those businesses that have been adversely affected, the loss of that income stream is a huge problem. I would guess that it would be very expensive if you think about the businesses that have been shut down for a while now. But like I said, I'm sorry I can't give you a great answer to that question.
Man, opinions are great. I just like to. I'm just interested to find out what you think. So
sure, those are my thoughts.
Mike, final thoughts?
Yep, I just got one more for you on the personal side of things. Like I know you said you're missing the face-to-face interactions, but as we've interviewed guests and stuff, we talk about the time that's been freed up, whether it's not going to meetings or time traveling and stuff like that. Have you been able to save any time, and are you using that for more productivity, or have you been able to enjoy it leisurely, or what have you done with it? Sure,
yeah. Absolutely, Mike, and thank you for that question as well. It really has. It goes back to kind of what I mentioned earlier, in that I've always been a relationship guy. I've always wanted to develop that rapport with my prospective as well as my current clients. And so, what I really have focused on is how can I foster this relationship with a prospective client, whereas maybe in the past, I maybe didn't throw out my cell phone number as quickly and easily as what I have of late. to a prospective client. But I think the number one thing that I've done is made sure that these people, despite everything that's going on in our world right now, know that 100% I am available, I'm accessible. I'm not in a position where I get to work at 8:30 and I leave at 5 every day. And when I leave at 5, I shut it down. I can be accessed on my cell phone in the evening, on the weekends, that type of thing. So just trying to make sure that people know that I am here and I'm available, and I am a lot different than the 1-800 situation that Collin referenced just a few minutes ago.
For sure.
Oh man.
Yep.
Awesome. This has been a lot of fun. So why don't you tell our audience where they can connect with you, where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had a good time as well. I appreciate you guys having me on again. So my office is located here in Gainesville. We are on the northeast, basically corner of the Farm Bureau State Office, which is off of I-75 and Wellston Road. My office phone number, 352-264-2228. That's 352-264-2228. Email address, my first name, Casey, CASEY.hahn, HAHN at F as in Frank, F as in Frank, B as in boy, I as in indigo, C as in Charlie.com.
Awesome, man. Dang, this is a lot of fun. Thanks again for coming on to our show. And audience, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Remember to support our awesome sponsors, and definitely tune in next time. We're bringing these every weekday at noon as we try to continue to navigate this coronavirus together. Gainesville, we're going to get through this. Gainesville strong, baby. We will get through this. And I know we'll get through it together and supporting each other and encouraging each other and learning from one another. So, Casey, thanks again, man. And this is the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa.
Thanks, guys.
Give us your best whoa.
Whoa.
We will see you later, everybody. Bye.